2 weeks by Craig Herbertson. You're 2 weeks from cannibalism. Don't start, don't look so aggrieved. You might as well sit back comfortably in the chair. Have a cigarette. I saved it for you. Look out of the window. I know you don't particularly like heights, but the view is exhilarating. Marred, of course, by the desolation below, but from your angle you should see the western hills, rising in a blue smudge over the crumbling downtown skyscrapers. That's rather pretty in an apocalyptic sort of way. The sky's blood red, isn't it? Those snow clouds tinged with a dark underbelly. Spectacular. Unlike the upsetting scene below. The rusting cars, the looted shops with the broken windows, the decay and the debris that litters the empty streets. You can almost imagine, if you look just straight ahead to that wonderful sky, that the catastrophe never happened. But of course, we know it did. No need to get angry, and no use attempting to release those straps. They're quite tight. I had to make sure of you. I have to be so careful. There aren't many of us left, and some people, well, they lost their heads, didn't they? I've had a few near misses. The breakout from the asylum in the third month. Those poor creatures. But some were positively dangerous. The remnants of that gang of Blue Angels who passed through a year ago, and those two deserters from the military police. It's only a month since I was shot at by some crazed youth. He's out there somewhere beyond the bridge in Uptown. I sometimes see the smoke from his fire in the early evening. I think there might only be 5 or 6 of us left in the whole city. So, I'm still not sure of you, but you look like a gentle soul. Can't be too careful. Finish the cigarette? Let me take it. I'm afraid I'll have to strap in that hand again. No, don't struggle, it's pointless, and it doesn't help your case. I'm still deciding what to do with you. Look, now you've singed the carpet. It's a cash hand, luxurious. Damn. Oh, never mind. I suppose I can get another one. What do you think of the furnishings, by the way? Ever watched the Omega Man? I may have unconsciously decorated the flat along those lines, even down to that over-elaborate chess set. I used to watch all the old films until the hotel generator went. To be honest, I'm not skillful enough to fix it, and after 4 years even unbroken light bulbs are hard to find. Nothing works anymore, except the wood fire, and that, thankfully, will last through the winter. I can always get wood. Everything else has gone the way of all the products of over-complex civilization. Rack and ruin. What have we left? Fire for heat, candles for light. Even the candles will go eventually. Here we are, sitting on the wreckage of an epoch, the last few unhappy survivors. Do you remember the panic when the emergency government requisitioned all the goods? The execution of looters, the requisitioning of food. At one point, the warehouses and the docks were used as a central depot. On one side of the quay, the government police gathered in all the food, the tins and the frozen stuff, the remaining livestock. On the other, they collected the electrical goods, the computers, the mobile phones, even electric toasters. How laughable is that 4 years on? Electricity will be forgotten. Computers will be as incomprehensible to future generations as hieroglyphics were to the Victorians, and our civilization will go the way of all the others that preceded it. Do you recall later there was that embarrassing scrabble for power, the conscription, the rationing, followed by the coup? Who knows what went on as the people slowly vanished and those mercenary soldiers finally came in with their trucks and took all the food. But did you notice they left all the electrical stuff behind? How many of us are left, you ask? There might be a few isolated communities outside the city who scratch a living from the poisoned earth. Farmers, perhaps, who can struggle on for a while under the blackened skies. We could try and reach them, but I doubt we'd make it in the wild. And even if we did, who's to say they would accept us? The over-sophisticated city-bred man isn't good for much. Like a sip of this wine? Good wine, preserved in glass bottles, will, I suppose, be the last echoed memory of our civilization. But even the wine will go off, and the savages who follow in our steps will find it undrinkable. As I said earlier, we are all, each and every one of us, a mere 2 weeks from cannibalism. That is how quickly we dropped the facade of civilization. Governments always covered it up in the old days, pointed to special circumstances, focused on those nutcases who have become less than human. No one really wants to believe cannibalism is anything but an isolated practice, but I've read the stories. The massacre of Stalingrad, the Chinese and the Russian famines. They were selling the dismembered bodies at the market stalls. That's what happens generally in times of famine. It's not just some aberration of the psyche, and it's one reason why I've been so careful with you. Does your head still hurt from the blow? No resentment left? Good. I couldn't take the chance, as I'm sure you understand. I have some aspirin somewhere. Do you play chess? We could have a game before the sun goes down. Yes, like almost every human in history, you are a mere 2 weeks from cannibalism. Unfortunately, I'm 2 hours.